Hello, welcome to LDEI Live Online. I am your host, Sheila Cry. I'm a member of the board of directors of Les Dames de Scott International, and my role is to lead the team of volunteers that produces regular online programs to benefit your growing business and enrich your life. Les Dames de Scaffier is a multinational tax-exempt nonprofit with 40 chapters and 2,800 members, all of whom are exemplary women culinary professionals. Today, we will dive into the details of how to develop or update your marketing plan, as Dame Camille Collins will describe. You may remember Camille from the April Live Online episode when she introduced 3 essential business marketing practices. If you missed it and you are dumb, sign in to the Member Center, open Documents, and scroll to the bottom where there is a folder called Live Online Archives. There you can find the link to the recorded event and Camille's electronic handout. Camille Collins is a New Orleans Dom. She is the founder of Collins Global Communications, offering strategic services and operational expertise for hospitality companies in Louisiana and internationally. She has over 2 decades of experience working with iconic restaurants and specialty food brands across the U.S., working with them on strategic marketing that drives measurable growth and lasting loyalty. Once your marketing plan is in place, social media practices will fit strategically within that plan, as you will hear from Dame Mayter Scott. Mayter is a Nashville Dom and founder of Mayter Scott Creative, an agency specializing in marketing, PR, content creation, social media, and photography for food, beverage, and hospitality brands. At LDEI's MFK Fisher Food Writer Symposium in April, Mayter wowed attendees with her educational session called The Confident Creator. As our speakers make their presentations, keep notes of your questions, which we will discuss at the end. Live Online connects you directly with the speakers, so show us your video screen, unmute yourself, and raise your virtual hand. I will call on you. And now, let's welcome Camille Collins and Mayter Scott.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. I'm going to share my screen and kick it off. One moment. Okay. Awesome. So good morning. I'm thrilled to be here with you all today. I just quickly want to ask you guys something and be honest. How many of you have ever spent about 3 hours crafting the perfect Instagram post, hit share, and then watch it get fewer likes than maybe your neighbor's cat video? We've all been there. And I'm seeing some people out there nodding. Well, you're in good company, because we've all been there, but we're here today to talk about how to learn to combat that, why it happens, and how to fix it. So we're talking about market first, magic follows, because here's the truth. The most beautiful social media content in the world won't work for a business that doesn't know who it's talking to or why. Let me scroll over here. Here we go. So we're going to talk about how to strategize before engaging in social media and why the strategy is so important. In the next 10 minutes, we'll learn about all of the different ways to create a marketing plan and strategy, not to overthink it, and how that it will help you organize yourself in a way to make you more efficient, effective, and at the end, drive those sales results. So let's start with the elephant in the room. Most small food businesses are flying blind when it comes to marketing. And I get it. You didn't open a restaurant or a food business because you wanted to become a social media star or a marketing guru. You did it because you're passionate about helping food, helping people, feeding people, all making, being a maker. But here's what's happening when we skip the marketing strategy. We're posting inconsistently. Sometimes one post on Monday, 2 weeks of radio silence, and then frantically posting 5 times over the weekend. So we're targeting a lot of people, everyone perhaps, which means we're actually reaching no one. It's like trying to season a dish with every single spice in your pantry. It might come out good, but probably not. So we're measuring vanity metrics instead of business results. We love it when we get those likes. It's that instant gratification. But are those likes translating to people walking through your door or buying your product? And most importantly, and kind of worst of all, you're wasting your most valuable asset is time. We want to ensure that you are budgeting appropriately with your time allotment and also your financial allotment for any type of marketing component. So, without strategy, you're essentially throwing spaghetti at the wall. It's kind of another food metaphor, and we don't want to waste good pasta. So, what does it mean when we have a good marketing strategy? Well, that is going to mean your business is growing, your revenue is increasing, and yes, you probably are going to also be getting some likes and loves and heart emojis on social. But strategic planning gives you clarity. You know exactly who you're talking to and why they should care that your braised short ribs are the best ones in town. It gives you efficiency. You can focus your limited resources, that's time and budget, on activities that you know are actually driving revenue instead of just giving you busy work. You'll get measurability, tracking what's working so you can do more of it and stop doing the things that really just aren't working. And most importantly, you'll create sustainability. These are systems for you, your team, that will help you become more efficient when you're in the weeds, still produce content that you need to push out, and make everybody a lot more happy and level-headed as you go into a busy season or a rush catering order that you weren't expecting. Um, you'll also get measurability, tracking what's working for you so you can do more of it, and thinking of your strategy more so like your mise en place. So you wouldn't start cooking without everything prepped and ready and set out before you. So you really shouldn't start marketing before you have your strategy worked out. So we're looking at step number one, defining your North Star. This is how you get started with developing your strategy. What is your primary business goal? Be specific here. Really think through this. And not an answer that wouldn't qualify is to get more customers. That's not specific enough. So that's not going to be super duper helpful for you. What are you trying to get more catering orders? Are you trying to specifically fill Tuesday night because it's super slow? Do you have a new product to launch? Even building brand awareness in a new market is a great business goal. So just think about that, write it down, and really track towards that as you build your strategy. Everything in your strategy should ladder up to that business goal. Um, Step two, know your customer inside and out. Who are you talking to? And again, just food lovers is not an option, right? That's a foregone conclusion. So be specific. Really give this persona. I like to name them. I like to make personalities for them because it's just that much easier to think about the tactics that you'll choose in order to actually speak to and reach that specific customer. Um, and I would say, start with one. You can ultimately have multiple, but really think through the age, their lifestyle, where they're shopping, what are their pain points, where do they hang out, and create that very specific customer persona. So we're going to then look at how to craft your value proposition. This is the messaging that you are targeting your customer persona with. What makes you different from every other restaurant or food brand out there? Uh, Fresh ingredients don't count. That's also a foregone conclusion. So, complete the sentence. We're the only category, whatever your category is, restaurant that unique benefit offers jazz brunch on the weekends for target customer visitors that like to dine in New Orleans. So it is something that will become your messaging foundation across all of your channels. It's your North Star for every piece of content you create in every conversation you're having with your personas. So then we're looking at what's in your marketing mix. What tactics and elements do you choose in order to reach your persona, guest persona with your new messaging that you've created? This is kind of like think of it as a pantry. These are ingredients that you all have available to reach your customers. Your own channels, website, social profiles, your email list. These are things you have 100% control over. There's social media where you're going to engage with your existing customers, have the opportunity to reach new customers. PR, you're telling your story through media, influencers, partnerships, guest reviews. Very, very important from a restaurant space. We all know live and die by guest reviews, as well as on products. CPG, really, you want to leverage those guest reviews to the max and always reply to every review, please. Positive, negative, everything. Um, Paid advertising, that one can be a little bit of a bear because we all know most food brands, restaurants don't have the largest budgets. So, we want to be very targeted with how we spend there. Event marketing, all of these things are tools in the toolbox for you to create a good marketing mix for your brand. You don't need to do them all, but you certainly do need to assess and figure out what's going to work well for you and your customers and your budget. So then we're going to go into how are we going to execute this. So you're starting with your foundation. In weeks 1 and 2, audit and optimize your own channels. Really go through with a fine-tooth comb. I think I like to recommend your owner founder do this as well as maybe someone else on your team. People see things through different lenses, and sometimes founders and owners are really, really close to it. And it's nice to have an outside opinion or third party assess based on something that they might be considering or looking for your information section. update all your bios, your email signature, all the things. Weeks 3 and 4, create your content calendar template and messaging guidelines. Month 2, begin consistent content creation and community engagement. And consistent is the key word there. And focus on posting regularly, engaging with your community. Make certain you heart all of those comments. You engage in the comment section, respond to guest reviews, and build your email list. One note also, don't get distracted by every new platform out there. There are a million new things that are always shiny and sparkly. I would just encourage everyone to ensure that what you are doing and what you have available to you, you're doing it really well and at 100%. And then you can start folding new platforms into the mix as your time allows. And really measure what matters. So tracking business metrics, not just social metrics or not just open rates for emails, whatever. You really need to ensure that the work that you're putting into your marketing strategy is relevant and related to your overall sales. So do a monthly 30-minute review, what's working, what's not, and what needs to be adjusted. Just small check-ins really can make the difference. And creating those systems for sustainability, batching your content creation, dedicating time at the beginning of the month for that, repurposing content across channels, using tools like Canva or Google Analytics to help you, create content or analyze content will really help make your life easier. So the bottom line is strategy before tactics. Market first, and the magic will follow. You have this strategic foundation that will really enable you to make every marketing effort matter, and hopefully drive those guests through the door or purchases online. So, couple quick takeaways. Strategy does not have to be complicated, but it has to exist. Small budgets require big focus. We really can't afford to waste your time on activities that don't move the needle. And marketing should feel like a natural extension of your brand, ensuring that creatively it is authentic and appealing to your target demo. And every successful social media campaign starts with a clear strategy. So now that we've built your strategic marketing foundation, you know who you're talking to, you know what makes your product different, how you're going to reach your ideal customers. Now it's time for the magic part, and that's where Mayter comes in. She's going to show you exactly how to take the strategy and turn it into social media gold. So I will stop sharing and turn it over to Mayter.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for coming today in the middle of the day. I really appreciate it. I'm going to share my screen. Let's see here. I think one of the biggest things that I loved what you said, Camille, was like small budgets require big focus. So, if you think of like what Camille says, that your marketing plan is your overarching umbrella and everything has to march underneath that. So you've got PR and you've got email marketing, influencer. I started as a content creator. So most of everything that I do is content creation marketing, influencer marketing, and community marketing. And that's probably some catchwords that you guys are like, where did all these marketing things come from? So how I work with my clients, and I'm going to use specifically Hearts. It's a coffee shop in Nashville. I'm going to kind of give you a real life inside view about how I do this with them, and it translates to dollar bills, people in seats. So we do a quarterly marketing plan, and like for right now, we've already done all of our summer activations, and currently we're working on fall and winter. So as a brand, we would say from a social media and marketing standpoint, what are the things that we want to go after in summer and fall? We would have done that in, the beginning of the year and planned that. So now we're into fall and winter. So I do a summer activation, and this could be restaurants, farmers markets, CPG. You can kind of like translate it into whatever product or service, or even if you're service based. What are the things that I want to do in summer? What are the things I want to do in fall and winter? And date it back a quarter, because that's really when you need to get started on those, so that you don't fall behind and you don't get to meet those marker goals. So I would say make sure that, like Camille, just reiterating, don't fall behind. Make sure that you plan a quarter ahead. So as a content creator, it's like social media is about the experience. It has nothing to do with what you think it is. Like, so your marketing plan is your base layer. And then just remember that when you take it to social media, it's no longer about you. You are trying to build a community around your product, service, or restaurant. So you want to show the experience. You want to capture the lifestyle, the people, the process, the plating, the setting. So to me, as a content creator, I've created millions, and that's no lie, over the past 12 years of photos, and emotion will beat aesthetics every time. There are times when I'm trying to, like, in my mental mind, like, make everything gorgeous, make a feed just like immaculate. And I had a client recently that she was like, I want, it's V Modern over here in Nashville. It's a really hot restaurant. You can barely get a reservation there. And I was meeting with their marketing team, and they were like, we want the feed to be immaculate. I'm like, that's just not possible. You cannot sit around and think that, like, creating content has got to be like aesthetically pleasing, like, all the time. So I want you to think of creating content in the terms of, like, you are talking to humans, they are in a space, and you are marketing to them. So you need to create emotional moments that will kind of capture like the whole process and the experience of whatever it is that you are trying to sell. I do anchor in weekly and monthly content. This definitely goes back to the marketing plan. So I try to do behind the scenes series, and these are just moments where you pull out your phone. Like, I have like a really expensive camera set that will actually do 4K like video, but I'm not doing that. I think my mentor taught me that the best camera is the one that you have in your hand. So if it's your iPhone, then you need to take some time to learn how to properly use it and, like, learn all of the features. And if you need some inspiration on how to do that, like, I literally taught myself digital photography. I was a film photography student, but I taught myself digital photography online. There's plenty of resources. I'll be happy to point you in the direction of it, but don't be afraid to get your phone out and, like, do some behind the scenes series. Meet the Maker Monday or Meet the Founder, Feature Friday. Work with some rhythms in your business, and again, that would go back to your marketing strategy of, like, what are those rhythms? What are my foundations? What do I want to communicate to people? Because at the end of the day, the one thing I do know is not only are you trying to evoke emotions, build community, but you're also not just selling a product. Because if you were, they would go and buy the same beer, the same dish, whatever. So you have got to create some differentiation by using emotion and community building in social media strategy. So again, trying to figure out what those rhythms are and what your emotions are and what your experiences are. One of the biggest things that's been a huge game changer for my clients is community partnerships, activations, in events, and in real life moments. So if you are CPG, or you are someone selling at the farmer's market, or if you are a restaurant, or whatever food or service you need to learn how to engage your community to build pop-up chef dinners, product drops. For example, if you have a CPG product, for example, in our market, we have Possibilities. I don't know if Carrie Aaron's on here, but, like, she could go to a local Italian restaurant and do a pop-up with them. So that there's ways that you can make inroads with your community where you're sharing audiences and building community around your product or your restaurant. So for example, Hearts is doing a Pride Month event where we brought in we serve food, but this is an after hours event. And so we brought in two local food vendors. One does Bing Bing Korean ice shaves, and then the other one is a pizza place. And then we've, reached out to a DJ. And so we've created like a community event after hours on our patio where we're inviting the community to come in. So what is Hearts getting out of that? Because we're not getting the money from the food, we're not getting the money from the DJ or anything. We are selling drinks, but we are creating community, and we are also creating brand awareness. So I just need to think that events and real life moments don't have to be heavy lifters, but if you're not bringing people to you like via social media, then why are you even using social media? Social media is meant for a tool for you to bring people out of the ether and into your personal space. So you need to create some sort of activations, strategic partnerships in your community, real life moments. It has literally been the life and death of like us getting out of the pandemic as restaurant owners and reconnecting and getting those conversions from social media. So the other thing is like content creation during and before. Again, do not get stuck on, I don't know how to use my camera. Just start messy. And then I'm happy to give you all some tips on how you edit after you get. So if you go on to an event and you have an event and you just have all these videos, how do you translate that into like a wrap up or something like that? I use CapCut. I don't have this on here, but CapCut is an editing software you can get on your phone. I love it. It's really easy to use. It's really user friendly, and you can take all of that content that you got during your event and translate that into a reel or use it on your stories. Again, we're social media. I'm giving you tips that really work for me. So you've got to build a give back strategy and grow loyalty and build your community. I know this doesn't always like translate. So right now, again, like this is Pride Month and I'm using this for example, but Hearts is a part of a Pride coffee crawl. And so we chose as a marketing team to say, okay, for $1 for every drink, we are going to donate that to the Oasis Center that helps LGBTQ plus and questioning youth to, thrive. So not only are people going to come to buy the drink, but they also know that they're drinking for a cause and they're going to give a give back. So we create those community inroads and people surround our brand and they love it. They share it. They're interested in it. So again, we're partnering with a local agency that helps those youth to do that, and they're happy to come and buy our product that we're trying. So high impact, it's a low lift. Like you were going to do it anyways. It makes a high impact. It's a low lift. You do it on stories feed. And also things like that become press opportunities because the media loves to get involved in things where it's you've created an event or an in real life thing. And then the press can say, oh, these guys are doing this because like they have an editorial calendar. And I think if you can base your marketing plan and social media strategy around, their editorial calendars and the events that happen that people in your community care about, then it's a no-brainer. So at the end of the day, values and transparency equals the community buy-in. And that's really what you want when you're trying to build a social media presence and to get people to actually buy your products. Actually, I don't have this in here, but my mentor told me that you have to get people to like you. You have to get people to know you, and then they will trust you, and then they will buy from you. So like, know, trust, buy is how I have always approached it with my clients. And, I'm going to absolutely buy something from someone that I like, know, and trust. So I think that you should promote one hero campaign at a time. Don't confuse everybody with 7 different things. It's just too much. I mean, we have the amount of content that flies at someone on a daily basis is so much that you just really want to anchor in on one hero campaign at a time. So I put a moratorium on one thing a month. That's all we can do. Preferably one thing every 6 weeks, because I'm literally going to have to make so many touch points about one thing. Like, for example, like that pizza thing, the Pride Pizza movie night that we're doing at Hearts on Friday. I've literally made probably 10 posts about that and stories. So I've really driven it home that Friday, the weather's going to be great. We've got, you know, these Korean ices. We've got a DJ coming. So I've literally like taken every little aspect of that event and made it either a story and or a post and gotten over 100 like likes, shares. So I'm really trying to engage my community to know, come on Friday night, we're going to have a great time. We're also supporting Pride. So weekly focus on a single, like weekly or monthly single special launch or pre-order. Do not over inundate people with multiple things within a 6 week, like I would say 6 weeks to 4 weeks, no more than one thing. So stick to one hero campaign at a time. Because at the end of the day, you really want to reduce the noise and maximize your maximize your traction. Repurpose like a pro, like literally, like the idea of trying to create one piece of content for one thing is wild. Like I go to a session and a content creation session, I'll get videos and photos and I will literally put them on stories. I will put them in an email blast. I will put them in a PR pitch. I will put them on social media multiple times with no shame because I am not concerned that people are going to re-see it, because only about 28% of your audience is going to see it or be online to see it at one time. So if you repost it, just find a slightly different way to put it on there, and don't be afraid of using the same photos, just kind of tweak it a little bit. So one idea, many assets, because that's the way that you're going to get a lot of traction. So one video equals a reel, still photo, story poll, email header, paid ad, PR pitch. So the idea is to batch once, distribute everywhere multiple times. I think that was one of the things that my clients always kind of snap back at me about is, well, we don't want to have this on there multiple times. Well, it's not about you. Like, no offense, but like we're trying to communicate to the public and they're not always on there at the same time. So we're trying to get traction. We're not, and the great thing about it is you can always go back and archive stories. And archive posts, especially if it has text on it or if it has a date, you can go back and archive it. Stories are great to overuse because people love, I will say that like my story tractions for my clients are probably like 100 times more than you get on a grid post. So people are in the stories. People are on the grid, less likely they see it depending on when you post it. So that's why you shouldn't be afraid to post it more than once. I work with a lot of chefs and owners. Honestly, like that's part of one of my, I don't do, I like when I transitioned from a content creator and a food photographer to an agency owner, I actually only work with founders, chefs, and owners. Like I don't want to work with a brand who doesn't want to have a founder, chef, and owner. That's just my personal credo for my business because it's easier for me to communicate to like the community. So this is Chef Frank that's over at Colachina Kumar. This is Kristen over at Henley. So I think it's really important that we share why origin story, because if I don't have someone I can personally connect to in the brand, how am I going to be able to build a community around it? Like I can't just build a community around something very random. So very, like Camille said, be very, very specific about what your brand is. And, you know, I hear this all the time from founders, chefs, and owners. They don't want to be on the camera. Well, they don't, like, if someone wanted to come buy Italian food, they could go anywhere. Like, I want to get them to buy from you. So that's one of my strategies. And don't believe it, but Frank runs from me if I pull out my camera, he's running. She's better at it. So use stories as your daily sales floor. So I think, you know, a lot of times we want to inform and inspire on the grid, and in the stories it can literally be like, hey, today we've got a special. Hey, today I've got this thing. The stories is really a place for you to high impact, right? And you can be a little bit more spontaneous and in the moment, and you can use it as your daily sales floor with no shame whatsoever, because in 24 hours it disappears and no one's ever going to know. So you can showcase restocks, staff faves, only a few left, post in general, real time, urgency alerts, behind the scenes, and countdowns. Honestly, at the end of the day, with my clients, stories oftentimes drive the quickest conversions. But you are going to have to be in the DMs talking to these people. So know that if you drop something, then you're going to have someone on your team, or you keeping an eyeball on those DMs, because if you kind of leave them hanging, then it's hard to come back from that. I always include a clear CTA, especially on feed posts. Like, people want to know how they work with you. If you're service-based, they want to know where you're going to be. If you're at farmers market, they want to know how to, work with you as far as like, how do I buy from you at a restaurant? So never leave off the CTA. It is literally like psychologically, when people, if they get to the point where they read the end of the caption, and sometimes you can place it at the top of the caption, depending on how fast you're trying to move things, but tap to order, pre-orders, tag your brunch crew, like, get these people with a CTA. And people love to be, here's another psychological trick. People love to be told what to do. So if you tell them, order from me, like, I can tell you that lots of times that happens in the DMs. So let's teach people how they can work with you, or how they can order from you, and give them a little direction in that kind of stuff. So let's talk about videos versus photos. What works and when. Video is going to equal reach and engagement. Reels, and because you in videos, like, the whole idea is not for you to be like looking at the camera and being perfect and having some weird script that you're reading from. It's really about like stories, storytelling, behind the scenes. What can you teach them? What can you tell them about yourself? It's also great for little moments where you're pouring and sizzling. Like, you're like, hey, today we've got this, special peach drink for peach season. Like, it's peach week here in Nashville, so we're doing peach drinks. Um, and then when you come down to the photos can be more of a polished, detail, inspire information. So you can curate your feed, menus, hero products, shots. Also, highlights are also super easy, interactive, where people can go to your highlights. Like, for example, for Culicino Culamar, my highlights are my aperitivo hour, the rooftop hours, like quick information that people can grab. So the highlights are also a really useful opportunity for people to grab quick information. But the feed is more of like the vibe, the experience. What are they like? You basically want them to experience your restaurant before they ever get there. And so when they walk in, they feel very comfortable. They feel very much like they know what the expectation is. Pro tip: shoot video first, grab stills during, deploy both across all channels. Camille was talking about, don't, get into too many social media channels. The two that I think that are the best for restaurants and food brands right now are is TikTok. TikTok is, I know, listen, you all are going to be like, but that's okay. TikTok is literally doesn't have as many algorithm constraints on it. So I would say, if you create something for Instagram, put it on TikTok, because that's where all the Gen Zers are. So if we're trying to get their attention, that's where they are. If we're trying to get Gen Z, Gen X, and boomers, they're hanging out on Instagram. So just know that if you make a piece of content for Instagram, then you can also put it on TikTok. Now, I'm not going to throw Facebook out the window either, because the other day I noticed that they sent me a thing that says, we noticed that you've been posting high quality content, and they invited me to become part of their monetized system. So again, I think that you can create content for Instagram and cross post it across the other two, and it wouldn't hurt. And then you might have some A/B testing on where your people are at. Like, that's also a process thing. Like, I kind of know where my clients people are at, but at the same time, like, if you need some information, then just at the end of the month, if you posted your content across all three platforms, then you can go and look at the data and see who's hanging out and where you're getting the most traction. Here's another thing that I learned. So your bio on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok are basically like people are very less likely to exit those platforms to go to websites unless you build in some links there. So I use BioSite. I also use Linktree. Um, I put that as, and now Instagram has come a long way where you can put like up to 5 links in there like natively, but I always just put in a really nice link tree or a bio site because I can go in and put brands, like I can brand that. I can put the colors in, I can put photos, I can make it look really pretty. So basically like Linktree and bio site are mini websites and I can put links in there. What you don't want to put in your Instagram bio is you want to put what you do and you want to be very concise about it. You want to put your location, an actionable CTA, which would be your link in bio, which would lead to that link tree, and your current promo offer. Leave out no inspirational quotes, no overwhelming list of there's nothing worse than going to a restaurant and finding like an overwhelming list of things on their bio, like they're like, for example, Henley, I've got to change it, but like right now they've got like literally this messy looking thing of like all of their hours, and their hours are kind of like wonky and off. Don't put that there. Find another way to put that there, put somewhere else, because you really just want people to come to your page and be like, who are you? Where can I find you? And then some sort of link that they can go find more information about what your offers are. No emojis are out. We're not doing emojis anymore. We're making them very small, even though I've got one here, but Kelly helped me do this. So pro tip, again, use the link in bio. This is what it might look like. So, just imagine if it was branded and had photos. You can have like a reservations link, you can have a menu link, event sign up, email opt-ins, press features, like LinkedIn. I mean, like Linktree and bio sites have been like a pro tip for me. But yeah, and it also, like, we're talking about SEO. So now one thing I want to talk to you about, have you guys heard of like social listening? Has anybody heard about social listening? So recently, maybe about 6 or 7 months ago, and I'm going to end here, is people were talking about Google and all of these different like people that do SEO and how like they were also adding in social listening. So that's something you guys might want to Google and look into. I'm not an expert on SEO practices, but I do know that like I try to use a lot of keywords into my captions. And I also try to like East Nashville coffee shop, hearts. Like I try to like drive as much as that social listening and keywords to kind of help with, ranking for how you show up in certain algorithms like Google and all those kinds of things. So maybe just when you're making your marketing plan, also just think about like, what are some keywords that describe my business that I can integrate into my messaging that would include like things. So if there is social listening and there is a social media big brother, right? That when I say coffee shop, East Nashville, and I put it with hearts, that maybe that's going to help the algorithm in some sort of way. And then yeah, if you want the slide deck, I guess Sheila, you can hand that out, but also like we have a hospitality marketing collective here in Nashville. So you can join that if you like. It's a membership, and it's just helpful for people who are in marketing and PR and social media, and we help each other. So that's me.
Wow, thank you so much. Thank you, Mater and Camille. And now it's time for you all who are our audience members to unmute yourself, show us your video screen, and ask your burning questions. You can raise your virtual hand and I'll call on you. because this is really an opportunity for us to connect with one another, I prefer not to read a question from the chat. The speakers, if you just are too shy to ask yourself, they can read the question from the chat. But okay, now Gina, what would you like to ask?
Yeah, what were the two primary channels that you mentioned? Our feed cut out for that. I know one was Instagram. What was the other?
TikTok, and Facebook. Like, again, I think you could start with whatever social media platform that you're on, and then you could add TikTok and just post the same stuff that you're posting on what you're already on there. And then at the end of the month, they'll give you some metrics, and you just see if anybody else is hanging out with you there. But that's really where the young crowd's hanging out.
Okay, thank you. Another question. Hashtags. Are you using hashtags at all?
Yes, I am using hashtags, but I'm also embedding those what you think the hashtag is. I'm creating keywords more or less, and I'm embedding that in my messaging. So if your hashtag is coffee shop in Nashville, hashtag coffee shop in Nashville, then I'm actually in my messaging, I'm creating Hearts as a coffee shop in Nashville. So I'm embedding those keywords into my captions as well, because that's what's
So
called social listening.
Yeah, so no longer a long string of just 15 silly hashtags.
I still use them. I think that the model has changed to more of a social listening, and what I hear from marketers is it's more of keywords.
Thank you.
Aviva has a question.
Hi, thank you. That was really interesting. Both presenters were excellent. I have a question. I have my own little hospitality marketing firm, and I'm very interested in the collective and would love that information on how to join. We do a lot of influencer marketing, and I know you briefly touched on that, but we didn't go too deep on that because we can't do it all. I wondered if you have favorite tools for measuring the effectiveness of influencer content for a campaign.
I'll say mine a little bit, and Camille, maybe you might want to jump in here. I love influencers. I don't care what anybody says.
Me too.
I opened a restaurant less than 30 days ago, and we went from 174 followers to 14,000 followers in less than a month. So how did I get that done? It was with influencers. And did it create a conversion? Absolutely. So is there a way to absolutely measure that metric? No. It is literally just like, okay, I'm gonna open my restaurant. We're gonna invite everybody we think we can and get 50,000 views. So it was like we sprinted into that opening,
Yeah.
and then but has it calmed down since then? Yes. So it's like a sprint. It's not a marathon.
Right. So I do that usually for an opening and then ongoing influencer marketing. So I guess my question would be, well, for an opening, for example, do you have your favorite tactic to work with content creators to get them in
Yeah.
and maximize the results and to maximize their content or optimize their content?
Yeah.
And then I'm always looking at individual content creators and saying okay, go ahead.
I have a list that I keep. And then, for example, right now, Frank over at Culinary was lunch is really slow. And there's a couple of new concepts that moved in next door. And so I strategically use them when I want to target specific things. And I ask them, before they come in, I'll say it's a fully comped dine. This is what, and I also make sure that they understand that that does not include gratuity and that we are looking for you to get this specific kind of content.
Okay, yeah.
Did I answer your question? I don't know.
Yeah. I'm always looking after the fact, after campaigns of likes, shares, views, but I just wondered if there's a tool or an easier way to do that.
There isn't.
Yeah, okay.
It's basically relationship space.
Do you know, and I haven't used this personally, but meltwater is one that I have heard from other people in the industry that can provide you more insights post content being produced from an influencer perspective.
Okay.
But just full disclosure, I haven't personally used that
It's
tool.
really expensive. I know. I get
Yeah,
it.
so they do exist. I feel that for smaller independent solopreneurs like myself personally, it's not something that I can invest in. However, Mater and I were just at the Fab conference in Charleston, and I learned that a lot of solopreneurs, smaller shops will partner and share tool access and expenses.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know if that's something within your community
Yeah, that's a good idea.
have other independent agents or people like
Mhm.
yourself that could decide to do that, so you could gain access to a
Yeah.
more expensive tool like that.
And is this the kind of information you tend to share in the collective as well?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, you guys got to tell me how to
We
sign
have
up for
a
that.
muck rack. So for PR people, we have a
Yeah.
muck subscription.
Uh-huh.
And if you need like access to content contacts for media journalists outside your market or in
Yeah.
because it's like $5,000 a year to
Yeah.
have muck rack. I don't even know about Cision. Like it's probably like 10,000.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you.
Okay, was it Mindy who had a question? You lowered your hand. I'd like to hear from you.
Hi. Yeah, well, you talked about it a little bit already. I own a bakery in Portland, and about the influencers, I'm wondering what other people have had the most effectiveness with. I kind of just cold email people or DM people in my area, and I just like, yeah, offer them a gift card or offer them a comp meal. And I've had one person take me up on that, and it was a nice burst in traffic and sales and
Can I ask
customers
you a
coming in and saying,
question?
"Oh, I saw that video they post," things like that.
Can I
But
ask you a
is that do you have any other tips of how to approach the influencer people
Let me ask you a
effectively?
question. Can you hear me?
It not great.
Yeah.
No.
Well, if not, we'll connect later. But do you have like with your bakery, by the way, I'm coming to Seattle next month and I'll swing by your bakery and we'll chill out. But do you have a marketing at your bakery? Like do you have like a professional email?
Sorry, I'm something in my throat. Yeah,
Okay.
professional email. Yeah.
Yeah, so if you go, depending on who you have that through, like I find that if you separate yourself a little bit and you have like a marketing at, so if you're marketing at bakery.com, so if you send emails from that marketing account, then you're separating yourself as an owner and a founder from that a little bit. And sometimes like media and influencers just react to that a little bit better. And also like you should put together like a media influencer like sheet where you say this is what you get and this is what I expect in return. You can put it together on Canva or it could be a Google Doc. But like, speak to them and say I'm interested in having you come in from the marketing at email address, and then see if they're interested in coming. If they are, then respond back with your influencer sheet. And then create like a Google Doc of influencers in your area. I know Portland really well. I'm sure they would jump in to support you.
And I think, like Mater is saying, on that Google Doc with what you're asking for of them, also, make certain your boilerplate is on there. Make certain that you can't tell them all the things, but what is it for that specific influencer? What's the one really pertinent thing that you think they can talk about and leverage based on their audience? And I think that the other thing I would say is micro influencers are way more powerful than influencers with 100 plus. I'm not saying, that you won't get some traction, but I would certainly, again, going back to who is your target guest persona, finding influencers that resonate with those specific personas and then giving those individual influencers different things to talk about for your business, then you're kind of hitting all on all fronts.
Other questions? And
I think we need another webinar sometime on influencer marketing. It's such an important and nuanced strategy, and it's fun to do and has good results.
Viva, maybe you'll be our speaker.
Maybe, although those speakers today were excellent.
Indeed, indeed. Since I'm not a marketer myself, I was stuck when I heard CPA, had to look it up, consumer packaged goods. For those of you who are not marketers, that's what we were talking about. And I'm just browsing through the chat.
Sheila, I think it was CT as in Tom A, not CP as in Paul A. Is that correct, Mater? So it was
Yeah,
called
call to action.
CTA, not CPA. So
No,
CT.
this was CPG.
Oh,
CPG.
It's a
CPG. Sorry,
different set of initials.
I heard
Yeah.
wrong.
Call
Yeah.
to action and consumer packaged goods.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
you sell like a product, pasta, whatever.
Yeah. Thank you, Virginia.
No, thank you. Sorry.
Virginia, do you have any reflections about this? I know you're an expert yourself.
Oh gosh, no, it's always great. Thank you for saying that. And sorry that I'm not online, but y'all don't want me to be online right now. No, excellent presentation by Mater and Camille, and great to know. And a lot of the things I do and try to do, and but one of the ones that I picked up was more monthly, right? Like I have my weekly strategy, and of course it all makes sense. And the only thing that I'd say is that, and Mater, maybe you agree with this or not, it may not in the end be something that the consumer or the end user perceives, but these editorial calendars make creator life easier. So it may not ever be perceived on the back end, on the front end, but on the back end, it makes all the difference in the world.
I think I totally agree. An editorial calendar is kind of like my ride or die.
Yeah.
It can get a little like monotonous because you like every year, like in August, they're going to do Dog Day and like they're going to, so it's like, but how can you make your brand fit in with that? Right. We can get into more PR strategies, but there's also like, Harrow, Help a Reporter Out. You can
Yeah.
also pitch yourself to things like, magazines in their editorial calendar, specifically if you have if you're an expert like Virginia, or if you have a CPG product. So they have those gift guides. But editorial calendar is just a kind of good beat to figure out like what journalists are looking for.
Chanda has a question.
Hi, I just wanted to know, will the recording from today be provided for us? I was late.
Yes, it will. It will.
Okay, thank you.
And if the speakers would like to share their PowerPoints separately, we can also share that. Thank you, Chanda. And Gina, you had a question?
No, it got answered. Thank you.
Let me just say thank you to Mayter and Camille for an excellent, excellent use of our time. It's so helpful.
I'm super appreciative. Listen, I know it's hard out there, y'all. So just know that you have support and you can call me anytime. I'm sure Camille also opened her phone lines up to that, but don't get discouraged. And I hope that you understand that marketing and social media are your friends. And so we want to help you out.
I mean,
Before we go, I'd like to share with you the live online events coming up in July and August. On July 7, we will introduce a new category of programming featuring international cuisines. Our first episode will be a culinary demonstration of a modern Senegalese meal, which was filmed last Saturday at the residence of the ambassador of the Democratic Republic of Congo. Dame Stephanie Zarpus, who edits live online video recordings, will edit out the cooking time so that we can present the meal in an hour's time with pauses between recipes to discuss questions. I can tell you that Cheb Ujen is like paella with fish and a variety of vegetables over a bed of broken rice, which is the perfect ingredient to absorb the flavorful tomato-based sauce. In addition, Dame Marianne Chihamba will also show us how to make a hibiscus ginger beverage and a dessert parfait with millet couscous and a sweet and tart peanut baobab fruit sauce. Go to Live Online, the webpage of the LDEI website, register now and mark your calendar. In case you've ever wondered about the global historical influences in the development of Southern cuisine in the United States, you'll want to attend the August 4 live online event with speakers Dame Professor Psyche Williams-Forson, who teaches at the University of Maryland, and Dame Liz Williams, founder of the Southern Food and Beverage Museum. I'm still searching for an authority on Native American food, so please let me know if you can refer me to someone you respect. My contact information is in the LDEI directory. Also, on August 11, Dame Catherine Kerr and her boss, Michelle Evans, at Hilton International will offer advice and share their own experiences while moving up the leadership and management ladder. Catherine is Senior Director of Global Lifestyle Food and Beverage Strategy and Development, and Michelle is Second Vice President of Global Lifestyle Food and Beverage. Hilton International is a major hotel corporation valued at $57 billion. One of the nice things about live online events is that you can tune in wherever there is an internet connection, whether you are at home, at work, out of town for work, or on vacation. If you simply cannot attend in real time, register anyway, and you will receive a follow-up email with links to the recorded event and any electronic handouts. That's all for today. I'm Sheila Cry, and I thank you for attending this episode of Live Online. See you on July 7 for a lesson in Senegalese cuisine. Bye for now.